everybody, today's video is on solving linear equations part 1. So this is where we're going to learn about balancing equations and trying to get our value of x. Okay, so I've got 6 questions on my sheet. We're going to start at the very basics. Now, what I would be saying to you in class is, yes, I know that you could probably tell me the answer straight away. However, what we need is a method that works every time. Okay, now I've shown you a video, I've made a video on this in the past where we looked at balancing equations and we were taking things away from each side and sharing. That is what this is without the diagrams basically. But we're going to start at the basics just to make sure that you know how to solve a simple equation before looking at the more difficult ones. But these are the types of questions you're going to get today. So what we've got here, so let's start at the beginning. So remember, when we're solving, it means to find the value of x. Okay, so when we've got a 3 and an x together, it means that they are multiplied. So this represents 3 times x equals 15. Now, I know that lots of you would easily tell me that x is equal to 5. Lovely. Okay, because 3 times 5 is 15. However, what we need to do is we need to come up with a method or a rule for us to know that. Okay, and what we did last time was we were sharing. When we had the so many x's left over, we split all the ones between the number of x's, which is dividing, isn't it? So what we're doing is we're doing it to both sides to make sure the equation's balanced, which is what we talked about in the last time we did solving. So we would divide each side by 3, okay? And what that does is, if we did 3 divided by 3, that would disappear because it would be 1. So x would be left on its own and it would give us the answer, because that's essentially what we're trying to do, is we want to work out the value of 1x, okay? And then 15 divided by 3 is our 5, which is what we said the answer would be, okay? So when you've got a number and a letter together, it means they're multiplied. So to find out one of them, you divide by the number that's in front of the x, okay? Right, what about this one then? So x plus 7 equals 20. Now, again, you could tell me easily what this answer is. I'm hoping that you would tell me it was 13, because 13 plus 7 is 20. But again, we need another way to work it out, because it's never going to be as simple as this, let's face it. Okay, and I'm hoping what you're all thinking is that you would take the 7 away, and remember, you do it to both sides. So you take 7 from that side, so you have to take 7 from that side, so they're still equal. And what happens is, if we've got positive 7 and we take 7 away, we're left with nothing there. So we're just left with the x. And then 20 take away 7 leaves me with 13. Okay? Right, next one. What does this mean? Okay, I'm hoping, again, that you're telling me that's divide. So let's write it out like that. So x divided by 3 is 12. So I've got to think of a number that when you divide it by 3 gives me the answer of 12. Now, the common mistake here is to tell me what 12 divided by 3 actually is. So the answer is not 4 in this case, okay? Because if I put 4 here, 4 divided by 3 is not 12, okay? So you need to be really careful and you need to think about what you've got to do. So something, when you divide it by 3, gives me the answer of 12. Now, if I'm going off what I've done up here, I've done the opposite to what's there to get rid of it. The opposite to get rid of it. So I'm going to do the opposite here. So I'm going to multiply each side by 3. And let's see if it gives us the right answer. So I'd be left with x, and then 12 times 3 gives me 36. 36 divided by 3? Yeah, it's 12, isn't it? Okay, right, the last one in this section then. So something take away 6 gives me the answer 11. Again, the common mistake is here to do 11 take away 6 to give you the answer of 5. But of course, 5 take away 6 is not 11. And that's always a good thing to do, is to check that your answer actually works. So do the same thing. We're going to do the opposite. The opposite to take away is add. Okay, and then we would add 6 to this side. So if I add 6, that part disappears and it leaves me with x. And then I've got 11 plus 6, which is 17. 17 take away 6 is quite rightly 11. So we're working off that principle. Now the questions that I've set you today are called two-step solvings, okay? So you're going to have to use 2 of these to work out the answer to the question. Again, you could guess, but I don't want you to, okay? That's great if you know the answer, but if we were in class, I'd be saying the exact same thing. You need to show me the process, because not always are you going to get a whole number answer, okay? Well, I know for a fact that the second one here is not going to give you a whole number answer, and I'm going to show you what to do when it isn't a whole number answer, okay? So you still have to work through the process, but it's getting the order right now, okay? So what we've got here is, we've got 3x take away 8 equals 7. So we're trying to get x on its own. So we need to get rid of the 8 and the 3. But what order do we do it in? Okay. Now, if you imagine those scales from last time, we had we got rid of the 1s first. Okay. So that's what we do on this. Okay. So we get rid of the 8 part first. So we're going to add 8 to each side. Okay. So what I've got here is 3x equals 15, okay? And then I've got 3, I know that this means 3 times x, so now I would divide by 3. So my answer is x equals 5. So you're getting rid of everything attached to the x. Now I'm not going to make it any more complicated than this, okay? So it's going to be, you get rid of the add or the take away first, and then you divide by the number that's in front of x. Okay, so let's look at the last one where I said it's not going to work out equally. So we need to get rid of the 4, so we're going to take 4 from each side. So I'm left with my 7x, and 21 take away 4 is 17. Okay, and then I'm going to divide by 7. Okay, so here is our problem. What is 17 divided by 7? Now, you're not going to have a calculator. This isn't a calculator type of question, okay? What you can do is, because I could sit and work it out, but that's not what the question is asking you to do. It doesn't want to know if you can divide a number, okay, and turn it into a decimal. It doesn't want to know that. It just wants you to know that this is the process. So you can leave this as 17 over 7. Okay, so you don't need to go any further than that. Just leave your answer as a fraction. If it was something obvious, like dividing by 2, and it was 17, and it was 17 divided by 2, I would expect you to work that out, okay? But not anything else, okay? So if it's divided by 2, then yes. And if it works out equally, yes. But if it doesn't, you can leave it as that. Okay, well, have a go at today's questions, and if you got any problems, just drop me a message.